Listening to the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Good evening, everyone. Roll call, please. Councilwoman Bozak here, Councilwoman Graves here, Councilman Jordan, Councilman McGraw
Here.
Councilwoman Carr here. Approval of minutes for February 19th, 2024, an executive meeting. So moved.
Second.
Discussion, roll call please. Councilwoman Bozak? Yes. Councilwoman Graves? Yes. Councilman McGraw?
Yes.
Councilwoman McCarr? Yes. Approval of minutes for February 21st, 2024, executive meeting.
So.
Second. Discussion, roll call. Councilwoman Graves? Yes. Councilman McGraw?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bozak? Yes. Councilwoman McCarr? Yes. Approval of minutes for March 13th, 2024 meeting. So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call please. Councilman McGraw?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bozak? Yes. Councilwoman Graves? Yes. Councilwoman McCarr? Yes. Works. Clerk Treasurer Jane? Nothing. Council members Jack? Do anything? Lisa?
Do you want to talk about the generator now or no?
Done.
Okay, no.
Do you have anything? Not at this time. All right. Clay, do you have anything?
On the Oakley Lane matter, I know that Roseanne, and I think maybe you met with Rand Tracus from Cleveland Cliffs, and I have not heard from her, but I did hear from someone with Cleveland Cliffs. From out east, we've been trading emails and to call him tomorrow. So,
I did speak with Rand today on my drive in here, and she said based on that email, is Jennifer, are we ready for Jennifer to sign, or are you still in discussion?
well, I tweaked the document and sent it back to them, and then he sent it back, so the answer is not yet.
Okay.
All right, town engineer is Shannon Marginetta. All right, building commissioner Chuck.
Yes, things other than what was on the March report, we'll continue to write permits for new construction up and builders. Pilot Travel is finishing their remodel this week. And no start yet, it's CFT truck.
Thank you.
I just have a question, sorry.
You're okay, go ahead.
For the complaint that was received regarding the parked vehicles, Jeremy, has that been taken care of?
In regards to which complaint?
That there's a bunch of vehicles parked on the curb on South Blue Road that are not licensed.
If we're talking about the travel trailer and several other vehicles,
You're talking about on this, on your report, Chuck, the second complaint on the report from the.
Oh, yeah. The RV has been moved
Okay,
and cars have been relocated. One was on the lawn that had it on. And one was too close to the fire hydrant. That was really.
okay.
So,
I just want to make sure.
so short answer is yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, street superintendent, Brendan.
All right. Well, we did our one-time leaf pickup, it's been completed. Hope everybody was able to get their leaves out. We started our brush pickup, it's every Monday, we'll continue on the entire summer. A later date, I think I have that date already, but.
September something, I wrote it somewhere.
Okay, I'll announce that next time, but it started every Monday. Our yearly trash pickup and mowing season has begun, so we'll be on the streets. Picking up trash that just never ends. A lot of mowing, we have to go around the rain, so that's gonna be a thing, we have a lot of rain coming up. Also, we have the CCNG 2023-2 paving project pre-construction meeting, which is set up for April 23rd at 2 P.M. at Town Hall. For the paving is gonna be coming here shortly,
Is it April at 2 p.m.?
April 23rd, 2 P.M. Get it Town Hall. Also, the schedule of all the work to be completed will be submitted at or before the May 8th council meeting.
Okay.
So we'll know all the insights of that. Other than that, we're just getting things ready. Spring has arrived and it's gonna be a busy season. That's the end of my report for the street department.
Hey, Jack, are you available on the 23rd?
Yes.
to meet?
I mean. I will,
I want to make sure that one person's there if you
I will
can.
let you know.
23rd at 2. You have to.
Perfect. Thank you.
You heard those, three.
Yeah. I have another one day before that, so.
Anything else? I like the sign. Thank you for.
I'm trying to use it more. I think it's probably one of the best spots
I
for
saw it today.
people coming in and out of town hall and stuff.
Yeah, as a reminder to everybody else, all the other department heads that are here, if there's something that you want to see on that sign, or somewhere you want it to go. Let Brandon know, come in the council, so you know what's going on.
Oh, Marco, Jeremy.
Everything's pretty much on my report. I think the big thing that we accomplished this month was going through some of the evidence that needed to be destroyed. That's been an ongoing process. There's gonna be another scheduled day this month to destroy more evidence, but that's ongoing. The other thing I would say is, I know it's later on here, but the 2015 Ford PI utility, we have all of our equipment removed from it and it's ready to go, so.
And our fire chief, Ryan, who's
I
back.
have to say that.
Good job.
You guys have a report for the March. I'm happy to report was really slow for us. The current issues I'm dealing with are maintenance related. Seems to be consuming all of my free time. But I have a specialist coming on 17th to look over the ladder truck because I've got 4 different fluids leaking out of that vehicle. From radiator oil, hydraulic and water. So I gotta start picking and choosing which one to address first and go from there. And like I said, that'll be on the 17th. I will pre-warn you that the hydraulic fluid seems to be the most concerning. And where it's leaking from, we think where it's leaking from is the main hydraulic ram that lifts and lower the ladder itself on the top. Which means I can't even get the truck certified or pass inspection with that going on. The previous fire chief, Bill already had the hydraulic ram rebuilt once.
Remember when that was?
I want to say last year.
So would there still be any warranties or anything on that from where it was? No.
I don't think it came with any warranty after the rebuild. And at the time, I think the rebuild was $5,000 and the replacement was around double. So that's kind of where we're looking at.
Do you have money left in your, do you have money in your budget for these repairs?
I think so, but it might involve some moving of other funds. But I won't know for sure until the 17th, until I get a report from the service tech that's coming from fire service. He's actually coming here to do it. Other than that, I've got it.
Thank you.
Sanitation superintendent. Adam?
Hi, good evening. Everything working? Everything's partially working, put it that way. Lift station 3, we had a emergency call out on that. Back on the 26th where a transducer had, went out and the, not telemetry, the, 152, that's the unit that had the telephone kick on, kick off. That also went out, so we had that replaced. We had, had that done. I had to call out, Superior Pumping to assist with that. We're still seeking proposals to replace the telemetry unit on lift station 2. I've gotten one in, I'm waiting on one more. So we have a consistency as far as, I want to put that. A better bid, put it that way. Getting proposals, in fact, I got proposals for cleaning up lift station, the 6 lift stations. So it is that springtime, it is time to start doing those. So that's gonna take, of course, 2 days, as soon as we get a day with 2 days without rain. And something above 50 degrees, we can start getting that process done. I had the phone lines on lift stations 5 and 6 both go out the same day, and I think that the amount of rain that we got had was a contributor to that, because while both lines go out at the exact same time, it's beyond me, but they're back up and running. We need but we need to get our employees in a confined space class. As of right now, if I have an emergency pump repair or something of that nature where I need to get somebody into the wells, we can't have anybody on those wells right now because they are not certified through the 1910-146 standard. So that is an annual thing. So it's looking at safety companies come out and it's an 8-hour class. It's going to take 1 day and get us and the street guys in there and we can get that done. So I just need to get with Brandon once we find out and pick a day when we can do it. If the board is okay with that. So now I'm gonna bring all that up or at least have that ready for the stormwater meeting next week. And that's it for right now. Just FYI reminder, I'm gonna be out of town the Saturday the 13th through the 20th. So I'll be on vacation. So Brandon's gonna look after things for me while I'm gone. If you have any input or anything, he knows my number. I'm not that far away. And I could.
Why is Brandon running? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I'm not that far away if it's something major. I can. So that's it for sanitation.
Have we done this training in the past?
So
Like this?
I have not.
I believe once it's achieved, once you get that 8-hour class, then the annuals will just be 4-hour refresher.
Correct.
Just curious why we haven't done it before.
Have we ever had to go into these before?
I've had a cable break. I've had a chain or anchor break, and there has been occasions where a confined space entry has been made. But we can't say we're confined space when we don't even follow the minimum parameters. We have a permit, we have a procedure, but we're not following that procedure. And let's say, and I don't wish anything ill on anybody, but I want to make sure that we're at a minimum covered, and we've done everything that we can to, so when people are, the government's looking at it saying, why didn't you do this? I think that's given the benefit.
Is there a cost for this class?
There is a cost of class, and it's right around. We're gonna do that next week.
Sorry,
That's okay, that's all right.
trying to get our ducks in a row.
No, I know. And I think it was just over 2,000 for the class.
Per person?
No,
Okay.
for the class.
I was like, really?
No.
And how many people or is it unlimited people can be in?
Right now I set it up for 6 individuals. So,
Will the price change if you add more?
I believe not,
Or
but
less?
there is a limit.
Okay.
So, I mean, obviously, so. So, no, I did not.
That's okay.
I gotta name a lot. I'll yell it out in a minute.
Do you want us to move on for now?
Oh, yeah. I'm
Okay.
sorry, yeah, you guys can continue on.
Stormwater.
Alright,
Brandon.
I've been in talks with Shem and I reviewed part C of the MS4 program and local will be submitting that before April 13th to IDEM, so the report is on schedule to be sent out. I've also been receiving weekly self-inspection reports from Putnam Builders regarding the homes being built in the village. They've been on it, doing what they're supposed to do. We've been working with them pretty good. Street sweeping will be, we talked about it last, April 15th through the 19th. Tomorrow I will have postings on the town website, Facebook, on where we're gonna start, so cars can be off the streets. So we're able to do our job and, hopefully everybody listens and they'll be able to see that. And then, I'll just keep announcing it. I'll probably announce
Get on the
it Monday,
side, too.
Tuesday, Wednesday, actually, and then Monday I'll announce Thursday, Friday, we're gonna sweep as much as we can. The rain will help a lot with the water. So hopefully that goes good, we can get that all done.
You have no parking signs to put up to.
Yeah, because there's a lot.
We had it before.
We
I
can
know
put
you
some
have
options, right, I mean, a lot of people,
I know,
Don't see it,
but at least they're posted and maybe.
Absolutely.
Push a button.
put on tomorrow, I will know where we'll be starting. So, other than that. I have nothing more for stormwater, so that's it.
Thank you.
Not a problem, thank you.
Hello, hi. Tonight is the deadline to sign up to volunteer for rebuilding Together Duneland. Lakeland Park was picked as one of the sites on April 27th. So go to rtduneland.org to sign up for site number 9. I think you fill in other and then you put site number 9. On June 6th, please come out and support the Park Foundation for Giving Thursday from 4 to 8 at 219 Tap Room in Chesterton, Indiana. All the tips will be donated to the Park Foundation. Yay! So come and eat, drink, and leave a generous tip. Kim and the crew are working hard to get the park ready for the season. And also, we still have a lifeguard position open. If anybody knows who may be interested, please contact Kim, the park director. You can either email or call. That's all I have.
Thank you. Are you posting your, do you have a flyer or something?
Yes,
posted on
yeah,
your-
we will be doing that soon.
Okay, that way we can make sure we cross post it on the town's pages, all of our various neighborhood pages, and
Yes,
nobody has an excuse.
we're very excited about this, yeah.
RDC, okay, that's me. All right, RDC was a fast 15 minutes today. And we need to get in touch with the school board to find out what's going on with our school board commissioner. We also had on the agenda today for the RDC, the annual report. Jane, we did have a few questions on the report as far as page 4 and after. We weren't really sure exactly what all that was because that wasn't included last time we received this report.
It was included in the email, but I didn't print it out because it's about 18 pages of all the parcels that are in the TIF district, which are required to go to the state, but not necessarily required for you guys to look at the parcels. If
Okay,
you'd like to look at them, I can certainly print them out, but it seems to be a waste of paper.
Yeah, well, they were partially printed out. There's some pages that were printed out.
I think some of the question too is there was residential parcels and I didn't think that those were within the tip.
They're still within the TIF, they just don't collect, they just wouldn't collect TIF dollars unless it's not on the actual homestead. So if it's and this is, don't quote me on this, but you know, a secondary shed or something, you can still collect TIF dollars on those. But you can't do it on the residential home. So those pieces of parcels and that information come directly from the county auditor's office. That's not something I prepare. But I am required as the treasurer to include that as part of the report that we send to Gateway.
So that's money that doesn't come to the town, that's money that goes to the TIF? Or do I need to ask that at the county? I'm sorry, Jacob. The amounts that are written in those lines.
I don't, there's many different columns. So there's the columns of the base amount, then there's the columns of the most recent assessed value and the difference. So the base amount you would still get, the town would still, and the county and the library and all of them would still get tax dollars on that base amount. But any new revenue or new assessed value would go directly to the RDC as TIF dollars.
Okay, and then There was also a question on the amount for the legal service for last year. Is that an accurate figure?
Confirm that, but I believe so. It's not only Clay. Last year, I believe the redevelopment commission paid an additional attorney to do some work in regards to bonding. Do you recall that? Clay, I'm just, I'm
vague
not
recollection.
looking at my records
Yeah.
this second.
Yeah.
I didn't see this until tonight. I think that email was sent at the end of March, was sent to the RDC. I didn't see it.
I apologize, Clay. I didn't
So
realize it.
I just know that that amount is far exceeds anything that I was paid, certainly just for the RDC. So as long as it includes other legal services for other attorneys, other firms and.
The attorney from Indianapolis that
Yeah.
helped with the bonding process and all the ordinances and things that was kind of out there, I
Yeah.
think that was paid. I will write
Okay.
myself a note to confirm those numbers for you, but I'm pretty confident that that's not just Clay, but that additional attorney from Indianapolis.
That makes sense. That does make sense. And then we did, because I wasn't 100% sure what exactly we needed to discuss. We talked about it a little bit already, but I wasn't sure if there was something, you know what I mean, specific that needed to be said in the public meeting. So we did table it just because we had the questions about the last few pages, because we were unsure as to what those were. We had a question about legal services, so just not exactly 100% sure,
Okay,
you know, what all we need to bring up on it at the next meeting.
it doesn't have to be discussed at the RDC. The state law says it needs to be discussed at the council.
Right, but we couldn't discuss anything at the RDC to say whether or not this was right to give it to the council.
Oh. Okay,
We were unsure, you know,
but you don't give it to the council. I, as the treasurer, give it to the council. I guess there's some confusion. I give
There
it
was, yes, there was much confusion on the email as far as what we were supposed to do, because it just said that it needed to be read out loud. We did discuss it out loud, so we were just checking to make sure what other steps we had.
Okay. I don't recall what the email said. The intent was that it needs to be discussed by state law in the council meeting,
Okay.
okay?
So what
So
we're
it is on the
discussing is-
agenda for the council meeting. We can discuss the rest of it now if you'd like, or it's on the agenda further down.
Oh, okay.
On the council meeting, number 3, under new business. I mean, we certainly can talk about it here.
Yeah,
And
we were already
detail.
talking about it.
I mean, so the first section, again, this is state mandated. This is a report I have completed as the treasurer for, I can't tell you how many years. Turned into the RDC and the council for as many years as it's been required by law. This year, the law has changed, saying that it has to be discussed at the council's public meeting. The first section asks for the commission members. So you have a list of last year's commission members. Roseanne Bozak, Brad Enslin, Nick Loving were serving the entire year. Jennifer McCard came in April and finished out the year. And Angie Scott started the year and ended in April. And Kyla Tumblin came in June and finished out the year. It also goes on to say who your school board representative was from January to July and July to December. It then asks for any particular members, what their titles were. Roseanne was the president, Brad was the vice president, Angie was the secretary for the time she was on the board, and then Jennifer took over and became the secretary. There are no commission staff members. It then goes on and asks what the professional services were provided, so it listed Baker Tilly as your financial advisor. Am I going into more detail than you'd like, less detail? Global Engineering was an engineering firm you used. You also used SEH, Patent Law, Cardinal Blue. It then asks that we indicate what the TIF district's financial status was for revenue received. You received your first installment on June 20th. In TIF revenue in the amount of $453,938.32. The second installment arrived on December 15th and $327,098.27 for a total of $781,36,59. I also indicated or included what you received in tax abatement fees. I apologize, I strike that. the beginning balance of your tip revenue, I forget that this report is tip revenue only. So your beginning balance on January first was $1,390,178.55. Your revenue, total revenue was your tip revenue and some grant reimbursements and some interest earned, $992,689.74. Your distributions were $838,663.10. And your ending balance on December 31st of 2023 was $1,463,205.19. There's a breakdown of the categories and subcategories of the types of expenditures you have. The first line item is legal services in the amount of $55,098. Again, I believe that's Clay and the attorney from Indianapolis that helped with funding. The second one is your engineering, $90,189. Your next line item is economic development grant and other types of services, $373,379.99. You purchased land, I believe that was the easement somewhere, Macaulay easement maybe, $24,403.50. Other improvements dealing with the Marquette Trail fell on two different categories. One was 128, the other was 165, 515, 44. And there was some minor equipment purchased for the police because I believe it was flotation things, rescue things being on the lake or on the river, $1,697. The next line of the next item is you have to set date any outstanding debt or loans that the commission did for 23. Neither of them happened. There's a brief summary of what the work was done for the RDC, when you've met, and that the minutes are found on the town website. The remaining 17 pages are all the TIF parcel district, TIF land parcels in your TIF district that are required by law to be uploaded to Gateway. And those are received from the county auditor. I do not create for myself.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. You did a good job.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Clears up the confusion. So we do not need to talk about it again at RDC. I think that's where the confusion was, that we thought we needed to discuss it at.
Correct. It should appear in your minutes that it was turned into Gateway timely. It's due by April 15th. It was submitted by me on March 27th. So it should appear in your minutes for audit purposes in the future that it was submitted on time to Gateway as required by law.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sure.
All right, share ethics advisory. We do not, you have anything, Jane? We're still looking for share ethics.
Correct. I believe there was a department head training, so people had to RSVP if they were going to go to that. I did not write down the date. I have that written down in previous meetings.
I believe it's May 31st.
Yes, from 10 to 1 at in Mirabel. And that's all I find out. Nobody's asked to be put on the board.
Correspondence.
Oh, yeah. IDAM, notice of approval, FESOP administrative amendment for Milestone Contractors, LP Valparaiso. IDAM, notice of approval, I wasn't for step 4, kind of.
Five.
Sorry, having a moment. Title 5 administrative amendment for Arda Metal Packaging, Valparaiso. Item, notice of approval, Title 5 renewal for Monticello LLC Portage. Item, notice of public hearing, TV renewal for Cleveland Cliffs Burns Harbor LLC. Item, receipt of air permit application for Caliber Collision Centers 2742 Highland. Item, receipt of air permit application for Scrap Metal Services LLC Portage.
Thank you. All right, presentation of resolution ordinances.
Honestly, we talk all night. Resolution, I read in full again.
The child prevention proclamation is usually read in full, but the remaining of those ordinances and resolution, I would defer to Clay because we have not had a public.
I think we can certainly discuss them. We can't take any final action. We still have to have the public hearing, next week. But if council would like to discuss or ask questions of your town marshal or
All right, we'll start at the top of the list with the child abuse prevention month. So resolution 24-02, child abuse prevention month proclamation. Whereas child abuse prevention is a community problem and finding solution depends on involvement among people throughout the community. Whereas statistics of children who are abused and neglected escalate each year. Whereas the efforts of child abuse are felt by whole communities and need to be addressed by the entire community. Whereas effective child abuse prevention programs succeed because of partnerships created among social service agencies, schools, religious organizations, law enforcement agencies, and the business community. Whereas youth serving prevention programs offer positive alternatives for young people and encourage youth development to develop strong ties to their community. Whereas all citizens should become more aware of child abuse and its prevention within the community and become involved in supporting parents to raise their children in a safe, nurturing environment. Now therefore, the town council of the Burns Harbor, Porter County, Indiana does hereby proclaim the month of April 2024 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in the town of Burns Harbor and calls upon citizens, community agencies, religious organizations, medical facilities, and businesses to increase their participation in efforts to prevent child abuse, thereby strengthening the community in which we live. Okay, so how do we want to read these ordinances? Sorry, Clay, I just wanted to get that one.
I don't think you need to read them. I mean, I think that they've been shared with the council. I think if the council members have questions of me, of town marshal, or Jane.
Did everybody get a chance to look at it?
Suggested edits or revisions. Maybe you might do a short explanation for the citizens in attendance, what this is all about.
Excuse me, before we move on,
Yes.
are we going to have a motion on resolution 2024 dash?
Oh, yes. Sorry,
That's fine.
trying to look fast. Motion to approve.
Second,
Discussion,
roll call.
Councilwoman Bozak,
Yes.
Councilwoman Briggs,
Yes.
Councilman McGraw,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCart.
Yes.
You want to talk? Sorry, I was.
So the grand gist of these, the following, the resolution, the two ordinances that are being considered by the town council is converting our current town marshal police department system to a metropolitan police department similar to Portage, Porter, Chesterton. In doing so, it'll create an opportunity to retain our current officers as well as bring other officers in. Because it would allow us to be entitled to the same benefits that other agencies share that are doing a similar job in our neighboring communities. There's significant benefits that change right now under our current system. If one of my officers received a, let's say, career-ending injury prior to having 10 years of service, they're entitled to absolutely zero. Whereas under the other system, it would guarantee our pension. So somebody that's gonna go out there and risk their life for a member of our community, their family is gonna be protected, whereas right now, short of having 10 years of service, there's nothing that can be done for you because you're treated as a civilian employee. That's the biggest thing with it, is getting that done. Short of that, it's gonna kind of affect retention to the point of when you go into the system, you no longer pay into Social Security, you only pay into this fund. So basically, if you're gonna be a police officer, you're kind of obligating because you're not contributing to Social Security. So your benefits that you would receive from that are gonna be limited. So you're kind of obligating, if you really want to be a law enforcement officer, that you're gonna have to do 20+ years to be able to retire from it because you're not paying into Social Security during that time. So.
Anybody have any questions? All right. New business? Nobody was hired in April, and many year, staff anniversaries. Drop off recycling site to release or lease agreement. With recycling and waste reduction district of Porter County. It's just. the Agreement that we need to go over. It looks like it is good for 2 years. So through June 30th of 2026. I believe this is for the recycling that's by the street department. And I think in here it says the district or the least annual amount is $1. Is that correct? So. We need a motion to,
Are these the 3 dumpsters that are in the back of the street department?
I believe so, my understanding. Is that correct, Jane? You know?
Yes, Porter County Waste Recycle District basically is asking us if they can lease the land to leave those there. Our taxpayers that see that line item on their property tax bill. So if they take them away, the town doesn't get a relief from that. They still have to pay that, is my understanding. I certainly do not say I'm an expert at that, but they've been leasing from us for many years. Part of this lease agreement allows them to prosecute anybody who might take out any recyclables out of it once it's been dumped, in case they were trying to basically turn them in for cash. And so it's basically a 3-year agreement to allow them to leave those dumpsters at the town property.
Yes.
I'll make a motion for Jennifer to sign the contract.
Second. Discussion? Roll call please.
Councilwoman Drapes,
Yes.
Councilman McGraw,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bozak,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCart.
Yes. All right, the 2015 Ford Explorer sealed bids. Do we have any?
Oh, I'm sorry. We have one.
Wait, no Drummond.
We have one.
It does not say from who on the outside of the envelope, but Jane received it in her office on April 10th. $3,250 from Joseph McCard of on Fairchild Drive here at Starks Harbor. 3250.
Just you can Mustang. Who's this?
What was the amount on that?
$3,250.
What was the trade-in value?
Yeah, what were we offered from Ford?
3,000.
What day did we put the bids out? What day did we start asking? How long have we been collecting?
They had until today at 3 o'clock.
When did we advertise it?
I would have to look at when I was in the newspaper. It's been a couple of weeks.
It was shortly after the last council meeting when I supplied all the information and Gene advertised it.
In the Chester Tribune? I mean, it was a fairly, it wasn't the legals. It was a bigger ad.
I had been on it for 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was a bigger ad in the Chester Tribune.
We can either accept it or we can deny it and wait.
Like, keep it rolling.
Like, I think we'd have to re-advertise it.
Yes.
Yes.
What does it cost to advertise it, James?
Haven't seen the bill yet. The first quote I got was $200, but it was inaccurate because she quoted me for 8 runs instead of 4 runs. So I haven't seen the bill yet. I don't want to assume that it's half that because
Who knows?
until I see any ones.
How many miles are on it?
126,000 and some change.
I make a motion that we accept the bid.
I'll second.
Discussion? No. Roll call?
Please, Councilman McGraw,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bozak,
Yes.
Councilwoman Drapes,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCart.
Abstain. And then decommission of the 2015 Ford Explorer.
We would need a motion, yes, so if someone would motion, since that it be decommissioned once it's off the town property, then I will send notification to the insurance company to remove it from our policy. That's kind of what that entails. I typically will not officially take it off the insurance policy until it's off the town premises. It's been paid for and title written over to the new owner.
Okay, so can I make a motion to have that taken off the town insurance and removed from property?
Second. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Bozak,
Yes.
Councilwoman Drapes,
Yes.
Councilman McGraw,
Yes.
Councilwoman Carter.
Yes. The decommission of the 2015 Portland ambulance. We don't have, it hasn't been sold yet.
No,
They took their bid back.
Yeah.
they rescinded their ladder truck broke down and they needed to use the funds towards that.
Do you know anybody else who's interested?
Currently, we do have another department that's interested.
Do you think they would match what Hobart was?
It might be a little less.
Okay.
We don't need to, do we need to advertise it again, or you're kind of working on the side, or I don't know.
Should we?
I don't know when it comes to two different government bodies doing it, making.
We just need to have the mirroring resolutions of
Okay.
that have over, so you don't need to re-advertise, you can, but if you think that you might be able to negotiate something.
We can start it back up. Are we talking about?
You win the lotto, you're making a donation to the town?
That's, yeah.
Because we don't have those kind of funds.
We thought about
No.
auctioning off this ambulance.
There is
We
a-
received,
Yeah,
We can't.
we did see.
The last time we did it 2 months in a row and it was less than, it was what, $16,000 or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah, very low.
And if this fails with the other city, we might be able to look into having a secondary, sales company push it,
That's what I was telling you.
would be our best option.
Okay.
Or I could even look into using it, for trade-in for another, chief buggy. Mine's lying all the time.
Do you know what, I wonder what they would give us for
and where
trade-in?
would you trade?
That's what I'm really curious about, because it's not just a little SUV, you know, it's a substantial vehicle, and I'm not even sure if a local dealership would be interested because
Right.
it's commercial. But
Can you
they
look
can-
into
I
that?
will.
Try. All right, approval of March 2024 financial report.
So moved.
Second,
Discussion. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Drapes,
yes.
Councilman McGraw,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bozak,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCart.
Yes. Approval of paid vouchers with 3 or more signatures.
So moved.
Second,
Discussion. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Bozak,
Yes.
Councilwoman Drapes,
yes.
Councilman McGraw,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCart.
Abstain. Approval of purchase order submitted with 3 or more signatures.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call, please.
Councilman McGraw,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bozak,
Yes.
Councilwoman Drapes,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCart.
It's been like day 11. All right, old business, the town complex generator, the status on that.
There's a missing part. I talked with Tony Shields, the vice president of Circle R. They reordered the part. I spoke with him on Monday. He was reaching back out to the company because they're having issues getting said part that goes into the generator to make it work. So we are in correspondence. He can't make it come any faster than they can make it and send it.
Lisa, can you look into why that generator is running in the middle of the night? It's been running on Sunday nights, about 11:30 at night.
Sunday at 11:30.
Yeah, some residents have been hearing it, it's making their home rumble and
Is that the one in your building or the main complex?
the main complex.
Sunday, 11:30, main.
Yeah,
complex.
roughly around that, yeah.
All
I mean,
right.
they set it for PM instead of AM.
Yeah, I don't,
But-
might have just started, I don't know. if it's Never got any complaints.
And so if it's like a test run, like usually test
Yeah,
run
our.
11 AM.
Around 11 AM.
Yeah.
It might have got
Maybe
set to it.
I can send him another
See if
email.
they can look at
Okay.
that. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Police 77 pension plan status, do we kind of know where we're sitting?
I mean. The gist of it is there's a ton of documents that need to be filled out, but everything is kind of contingent with the ordinances. Along with the resolution.
Everyone did good on their test.
Yeah, so I have.
Test every night.
I have the approval of everybody to join. I have all of that. That's not a problem. Other than that, there's a couple documents for Jane. Allowing her to be able to administer the system, if you will.
Mhm.
In addition to that. The. Certification of salary for this year. We filled it out last year. That's something we'll have to do again. And then there's a service purchase agreement and then a member service purchase agreement, which have to be signed by all the members as well as somebody from the town council. And that's it. Other than that, we're kind of where we need to be.
The 2024 fire service contract, I know I had sent it on Monday, very late. In short notice prior to the meeting, so I don't know, we can table it till next month, we can have another meeting if we need to.
Yeah, I went ahead and forwarded it to the board itself, and then I have not got a response back, so yeah, we just table it, and then we can talk.
Absolutely.
If we have anything otherwise, so we can meet before then, and just.
Yeah.
Take care of any discrepancies.
Mhm.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Right, and Jack, sorry, you're right. To answer your question, up to 12 students, 2150.
Thank you.
Fill the open positions, I mean, we're still dealing with a cleaning, trying to get a cleaning staff. There's open board seats. Sanitation needs a registered professional engineer, if anybody knows one or is one.
Do we have a description of what that job will entail for that engineer, what type of engineer? Is it somebody that just has to have the engineering degree? Like or does it have to be like a specific, like. You
I
know,
understand,
like I'm a trade engineer, can I be
structural
there?
engineer.
I think it has a professional engineer, I think they have to take certain classes.
But is there like
We have-
is it like a professional engineer that has like an I don't know about engineers, that's not my area of expertise, but is it somebody that has to be, like a sanitation engineer, or is it just like any kind of professional engineer that's not like a locomotive engineer?
I think, I don't know, cause I know like our neighbor is an engineer. But he has to take a certain test to have this. Part of his,
With a certification?
like a certification, yes,
So there's
there's like a branch, like
There's a
from my
specific
understanding,
certification that,
but I don't know what it is.
Jane, do you know what that certification is of the engineer, or how we would get that information?
Indiana code states it has to be a professional, certified professional engineer,
So they don't
and they
have to have-
serve as a board member. So it's not that they're doing any particular work for the utility,
They're just.
they're just serving as a board member, but state statute says they have to be an engineer. I have reached out to Cleveland Cliffs, they don't have their own on-site engineers. They actually contract with DLC, I've reached out to DLC. I think we suggested maybe reaching out to SEH or Ebemarsh to see if one of them would serve. But I don't know if anybody did that.
Oh, we did,
We-
and there was nobody.
We did,
We have
it's,
not.
it's
I know I've talked to Tyler, but I think it's have some sort of certification first.
In the past, Global sat on it, but he felt it was a conflict because he'd be voting on his own invoices and his own contracts. Or his staff would be, since he serves as our town engineer for the utility.
I believe that's the same type of response that we've gotten from other engineering firms that we use for other projects here in town. We don't want to muddy the water.
So yeah, everybody knows anything.
Right, nobody out there, an engineer, a volunteer, so.
All right, the 2024-02 community crossing matching grant bids. Where do we go? Who are we asking?
Because I'm sorry, my notes to you, I think are old. I apologize.
Okay.
I think that what Global was trying to get you guys to do last month was to commit to applying for the 2024-02 grant. And the state law has changed. Before, we used to be able to get a maximum of $1 million. Now, the town can get a maximum of 1.5 million. We still would have to match 25% of that. Engineering costs are not included. He gave a, Global submitted a, task order. If you wanted them to go for that full 1.5 million, what that would look like in engineering costs to apply for the grant, if you were awarded for the grant, to manage the project and all of that, so that $120,000 task order that you guys received and were unable to discuss because he wasn't here to kind of help explain that's what he does. He's submitted task orders in the past. It's just a lot larger this time because the project amount that we could apply for is significantly higher. I don't know how soon he needs an answer on this, but we certainly haven't budgeted for that kind of money. Not only the $120,000 in engineering fees, but that 25% matching grant on $1.5 million. So it certainly would require some people to sit down and talk about budgets and numbers and or if we even have that many roads that need paved. For that type of money.
I can reach out to Shem and set up a meeting. Okay. And then we can talk about this next month.
Okay.
Mhm. All right, trash fee procedure for demolished homes. We need to figure out how we want to handle these fees.
And we talked about it a little bit, sorry. I mean, you discussed how in the town code, Clay, correct me if I'm wrong, in the town code, it specifically states that there has to be a home on the property, so if it's a demolished home, that would change everything. I believe we talked about this before. But I know that we then still have to come up with a process of how.
You know, off the top of your head, what chapter that's in?
Why do not, Jade, do you? Sorry, you're better than.
I don't know which track is in 5 or 2.
5, garbage and refuse.
So, we have had one resident, in fact, he came in yesterday and asked us about it. He has taken down his home, he's being billed for, so he has 2 houses on that same parcel. One of the houses came down, he's still being billed for trash. I indicated to him that the council was going to discuss that tonight. Certainly the ordinance says that if it's a residential structure, they get billed. Residential structure is down. The question is, how do you want the utility office to handle when a house comes down? Do you want the building commissioner to just send over the demolition permit and proof that the house is demoed and we handle it internally? Do you want it to come in front of the board so that there's some public notice, or it's in the minutes that the house has come down? Do you want, I think Lisa asked what happens with the bins, or someone asked what happens with the bins. The trash company's not going to pick them up unless we call them and ask them to. Maybe the street department could pick them up and take them off-site so they can't use them for us. Cause I know that I believe, I don't know, I believe that the gentleman who owns the two properties, although one house came down, he just moved his trash cans to the other house, so he has extra trash cans. So if somebody wants extra trash cans in the town, they have to call Republic, Republic gives it to them and they bill them privately. So he has access to extra cans, and so I am not, I would again defer to Clay, I would feel that he is getting extra service on the bill that comes to the town, so until he returns one of those trash cans, whether it's the street department picks it up, so that we know it's picked up. And there's some type of channel of communication, so there's paper trail for audit purposes. We can handle it inside, without coming to the board, unless the board wants us to talk about it. As far as billing goes, somebody asked about billing. They don't do a house count. It's our obligation or our responsibility to give them new house counts every 6 months. So we could call them and say one fell off, but they might say, and how many were added? So do you want, so we just need direction from the board. How do you want us to handle this? And we are happy to move forward with however you like it. I don't think the ordinance needs changed. I just think the procedure needs put in place.
Okay. I mean, I think with Chuck, showing the proper paperwork, I guess, and verifying that there's no longer a structure there, would be sufficient. And then I believe we should have Republic pick those cans up.
Republic, when
Will they?
they will, but I'm sorry.
Charge you for it.
The
Oh,
Republic will pick it up, but they'll pick it up the next trash day. And if it's not at the curb, they won't pick it up. It's gotta be at the curb. They gotta know it's at the curb and they know. And we have this happen from time to time when a resident calls and says, my bin is damaged, could you send me a new one? So Republic will say, yes, put it on the curb and the next trash day, we'll drop you a new one, we'll pick the old one up. So if this resident's taking down their house and don't put it to the curb, Republic's not going to be able to get it.
So if the street department gets the can, then how does the can then get back to Republic?
We could negotiate something, or we could use it as when a resident calls and says there's damage, we could swap it out for them instead of making Republic do it. We can work those things out, I think, with Republic, if you guys want us to handle that.
Yeah. I would say that the street department should remove it, and then I think a combination of Jane's two options, handle it internally, but report it at the next meeting that it's been done, just so that way it's there, it's in the
Yes.
records, it's in the minutes,
George.
everybody knows what's going on.
I mean. Are
You don't see you're gonna end up with like 10 cans.
obligated to just walk up and get them? Do we need to talk to
That's
the
a whole nother
homeowner?
issue.
I don't wanna just walk into
The yard and.
the yard and just, yeah, I don't wanna have to do that.
Is there something that can be added to the demolition paperwork that says upon demolition, we're gonna come get your garbage can?
Like in a permit that they're applying for, can that be added onto it?
We don't demolish a lot of homes, so
Right.
this is gonna happen often,
Right.
it's not like you're gonna have 50 trash cans in the street department. The gentleman that asked about his bill, cause he wants it taken off, cause he's still getting sent a bill and being charged late fees. So when I said, when the trash cans are picked up, you will happily, he said, can I drop them off?
Oh,
I think the property owners are going to be cooperative in getting the
Okay.
trash cans if they know that's what gets the bill stopped.
Okay.
That would be my 2 cents. If it doesn't work, then we could always reevaluate the process. If
I
it
just
works-
want someone chasing right down, don't hold my trash can.
Should I just go check it out and keep eyes on it, and if they're empty, just take two, take off.
Or I would make contact,
Or you just call them and ask them if it's okay to pick it up.
yeah,
We'll do this for you. Are you okay with that? I have the property owner's phone number. He left it.
yeah, I would make
for us
contact with them
yesterday.
first, I just wanna go.
That's why I didn't want to go.
We're going after the meeting, start outside.
Jane, for the lot that had the demolished home, is he still paying utility and sewer bill?
There was never sewer, that house was never connected to sewer. And and that house was also not connected to utility for quite some time. It was a house demolished because it needed to be demolished quite some time ago.
So if you take it off, there would be no bill from the town for that lot.
Probably not. I mean, I can't speak because I don't own the lot, but I mean, I would say probably.
There would
not.
be no bill from the town. I mean,
Oh, I see what you're
there
saying.
might be other like
Yeah, no,
property taxes, whatever, but the town isn't gonna be billing that
No.
lot owner. For anything.
the property, so this is a property that is a larger lot that had 2 homes on the same lot prior to town code prohibiting that. So the first house went down, he owns the second home that's on that lot, and he still has trash that's going out. I don't believe it's being lived in, but he still owns it. I have his phone number, he's willing to cooperate. And again, homes don't get demolished in town often, so I don't think it's going to be a huge ordeal. He's concerned about it because the house came down about a month ago. He's still paying on the first home with the trash. And he's getting billed for the second home that's no longer there.
That's fair. I would say we just contact him and set up a
Just let us
pickup.
know.
Do you have a comment?
Yeah, I tore a house down maybe 6 years ago or 7 years ago on Cohen Street. I'm not sure if stuff's changed since then, but it was super simple. I mean, I pulled that demolition permit, you gave me instructions, I called Republic, they came right away and picked it up. I mean, it was very, very easy. I can say that.
Okay.
And I'm not getting billed for it, and I'm not getting billed for, there was also a septic tank there I had to tear out. And I wasn't being billed for that either, and town was phenomenal to work with it.
So maybe as long as they know that we're
Just
supposed
make
to pick them up and stop them first,
Yeah,
then it should be all.
I think we just need to make
Yeah,
contact with them.
Yep. Same thing, I call NIPSCO and say, I need to shut off, before I get it down.
I would only speak to the fact that if we're relying on Republic to pick it up, how do we know it was picked up?
Right.
Again, this gentleman is putting those trash cans from the empty lot and putting them out to the
Well,
curb.
then if he wants us to collect them or if he wants to drop them off, we can,
Drive by a trash day and see if there's
yeah.
one or two.
And I would just say, because the town is still being charged for both homes by Republic, and the fact that he's pulling them onto his second lot and using those bins is a cost to the town that Republic's not gonna relieve unless we know to stop billing and they know to stop billing.
All right. Anything else? Moving on, creating a public works department status, have you guys got anywhere to share to bring it?
I read out a little bit on it, but we still need to work on it. It's gonna be a big project.
Yeah,
It's gonna be realistic, not gonna stay on the agenda for a little bit.
for a long time, okay. All right, go to the order,
Yeah, Tom.
can you just state your name?
Hi,
At this part.
I don't know how this works. so-
Yeah, no, that's fine, so at this point, go to the order, you guys can just state your name, your address, and then. Text, yeah.
Amber Alex Mucko, 1241 Cohen Street. And I'll let him kind of take over.
Okay, I'm just gonna pass out the documents too. I made this as simple as possible. Basically, I purchased a new TV for another property that I have. And, I was hoping to be able to ride it around town, like the golf carts or driven around town. And I found out after talking to a couple of residents that there's a lot of confusion as to what an ATV is and a UTV and an ORV. So I just want to kind of bring it to your attention and ask the town council to potentially review or add an amendment to the current ordinances or create a new amendment to allow ORV and UTV vehicles to be permitted in town streets, similar to how we currently allow for golf carts. UTVs and RVs generally have full seat belts per seat, rear view mirrors, brake lights, tail lights, and windshields. Higher end ones have full doors, windows, bumpers, and they have front and rear cameras. So when you are pulling forward at 100 miles an hour, you can get a front camera. When you're reviewing backward, you can get a camera as well. So I did a little bit of research prior to coming here, and as you all know, we currently allow golf carts, okay? Porter County allows for UTV ORVs per Porter County's ordinance chapter 1018. That's included in the folder. I won't go through all that. And then as of 2022, the population for Burns Harbor was like 1571 estimates. So I just kind of did some research and pulled a list of other towns our size, and I found Crawfordsville, Indiana has 1,599 residents. Woodburn, Indiana has 1,601 residents. These are very close to size of Burns Harbor. When you organize the towns in Burns Harbor by their population, there is a website I've provided at the end. You can go over through that. So Crawfordsville allows UTV and ORV per chapter 73 code off-road vehicles. That's attached in there. Woodburn allows for UTV ORV per 7066. I'm sorry, 7006 off-road vehicles. And I haven't had a chance to fully do additional research, but Hobart also, a population of 29,000, allows UTV and ORV ordinance number 2021-11. All those are included in our documents. Just so you guys are aware, I'd like to show you some pictures depicting what a UTV is. So this is a particular UTV in question that I'm talking about. It's got the full doors, windows, windshield, heater, air conditioner, and seatbelts for everybody. And then on the second page, it just shows like what a golf cart is. And I've always felt safe in a golf cart when I was around town. But I feel as far as safety goes, it needs to meet or exceed the standards of the golf cart. And then in a couple of the other towns, they talked about noise and all that, and I did some research and found that the noise is no louder than a Harley Davidson. In addition to that, some of the towns said, hey, after 11 p.m. or before 5:30 a.m., you know, we don't want to be using these. And they also threw some pretty nice words in there, like if you're using it obsessively, going up and down streets, you know, the police can take you. And those towns did put that in there. But I feel like most people that own these type of UTVs are very responsible. Because they're expensive to fix, they're expensive to maintain, they're expensive to own. So included in that book is those ordinances for your review.
I'm guessing because you did lots of work, that you've reviewed our town code.
Yeah.
So my question is, are you looking to have the UTV or the added, like, you know, where it's a golf cart in our town code, you want that to be included? Are you trying to change the golf cart? Are you requesting a change for the golf cart rules as they are as well?
Not so much the rules, right?
Not so much rules, they are open to that.
It doesn't talk about the UTV at all, so it kind of leaves it in a limbo area.
And you guys have the discretion to say, hey, UTV requires this.
I just wasn't sure if you were just trying to add this type of vehicle to the current ordinance, or if there were other changes that needed to be made to the ordinance based on your findings, because I know you guys did all of your research.
Yeah, you know, and the smaller towns are really pushing for these. I would suggest that, you know, ATVs aren't allowed. I mean, because you're basically, there's no seatbelt, you're open in the open, you know, it can be, you know, a little dangerous if you don't brake properly, maybe the car pulls out in front of you, you know, if you turn hard, you may fall, you know, because you may turn differently on wet pavement versus muddy, and you might be tempted to go faster on pavement with an ATV. So I personally feel that the ATV is a good choice for the town. But I really feel like the UTV, you know, would allow certain residents to be able to have some of the same abilities as the golf cart owners. And I've also seen like on Halloween, people riding lawnmowers in town. You know,
Oh my God, I've never seen that.
yeah.
Come
on, first time.
That's where I need to go.
You gotta drive to get to the neighbor's house over here.
Like, you know, I love to fish, you know, I put my fishing poles right on the top of this UTV, I go right down to, you know, Lakeland Park, park in a general spot. You know, I have mirrors, all of that stuff, I can park in a parking spot and go fish.
So what are your intent, are you like, do you plan on off-roading with this, like?
Sure, I off-road, but definitely not on some.
Okay, I'm like, I don't know how big your property is, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I property, I believe I should use it on my property, if I have 2 acres.
No, on your property, yeah, I don't care what you do, I don't know how big your
Sure.
property is, I don't want you to go down to the park and like tearing up our park, and I'm like.
No, I will go down to the park for sure, but I will drive only where cars are permitted, and I will only drive it, you know, where I can park it at in a parking spot.
I feel like
the same expectations a golf cart would have, like you can't be going all crazy and, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously, there might be some more limitations that need to be developed in regards to it, but as far as, we're not asking to go in the cornfields and go crazy. We're
Okay.
just,
Yeah.
it's from point A to point B.
And, you know, I also believe that, this particular machine, this is a fairly new machine that's been developed by Polaris. But I believe like the town could really utilize one. If somebody got injured on the trail out there, you could put so much equipment inside of here.
Did you get like a buy one, get one?
Yeah.
You know it, do you?
Are you a dealer? Are you
I play the lottery, but.
I thought Brandon's ear go, what?
I'm looking at Jeremy like, don't have any ideas.
If we need one, we can call this. number.
Oh,
I talked to him about, safe go trade to even up for the game.
That's right.
So how would this work? As to like state code, like to go on state highways?
Yeah, so
Cause you're surrounded
golf
by,
carts are not allowed on.
correct,
So obviously, you know, Indiana's a little more populated than some other states. Okay, so a couple, I'll make this quick, but for instance, in Michigan Upper Peninsula, in northern Wisconsin, okay, you can take these on highways for maybe a few hundred feet to be able to turn onto another road. You know, I'm not saying you're gonna drive on 149 all the way to 12, go on 12 and go down, you know, to somewhere else, but they do allow you to cross and stuff like that. But no, I don't think that I should be able to get on 94 with this. I mean, it would support it, I think, but I don't think it's the right thing. And I don't think that I should be able to go down, you know, 20 or 149, just the same basic gist as a golf cart.
Culver did a pretty good job of, I think it was, of explaining the breakdown and
okay,
staying off of like city downtown areas, but you know, back roads.
okay.
Well, how fast does it go?
I mean, I can put a governor on it, but it's, you know, you could get up to 75, 80 miles an hour. I mean, you're not gonna do that on a trail somewhere. You're not gonna do that on an off-road trail, but you would.
Yeah.
Now you need a license, correct, to drive one of those, or?
Yeah, so 16 or older, you have to have a license.
Are they plated?
They don't need to be plated, but you get a registration sticker.
Okay.
With Indiana, and the police have to inspect
Indiana
it
was fine.
as well.
And it has to carry insurance.
For sure.
and-
Started, yeah.
It wasn't specified in here, that's the one thing I'm looking for, the insurance requirement, that's, on the second section, it said equipment, driver's license and insurance requirements, but I read all through that and it says nothing about specific insurance that that person that's driving this must have insurance on it. And that would be one of my biggest concerns, because if something gets damaged or property gets damaged,
No, I agree. It's very important. I mean, I have insurance, we have insurance on ours, of course, but I mean, I think that would be up to anyone driving around. If you don't have
That-
insurance, that's really.
That requirement is already in place with our golf cart ordinance, so I mean, if we were to allow this, I mean, we would have those same requirements, we would follow through with that.
that's.
And, you know, and yeah, that's just for Porter County, but if you look at Crawfordsville, it's the one with the red, I believe that it has more of that, and it basically says, you know, all RVs that cross town streets or highways, you know. Must do so at a minor angle, and it really is in detail and, you know, wearing seatbelts, also financial responsibility on Crawfordsville, it's the same side of town as ours. It says each person who operates your RV, the public way shall have a minimum amount of liability insurance.
Okay.
Jeremy answered my question. so-
Yeah, in conjunction with state law, and that would be critical, I would think, for the town for sure.
We have that already with the golf cart.
Right,
So
that's what-
I guess I would suggest that you and town marshal, and maybe a council member to, you know, communicate and get some suggested language if we're gonna tweak our current ordinance, because I mean, this ordinance has been on the books for, 9 years with regards to the golf cart. So if we just need to tweak it a little bit, I'm not sure what you want to be changed, because a lot of what you're discussing is already in there.
Yes,
That's what we're saying. We're not really
So-
looking to make changes, just the verbiage, because it doesn't state a UTV, so it only mentions golf cart. And there is a difference between the state, between the two.
Yeah, so we're just asking for the ability to be treated the same way as a golf cart, is to, hey, my UTV, my ORV can be used the same exact way as a golf cart, but the ORV to UTV has to meet these specifications, and town can put that in there. You know, maybe you want it to have a door, they all have seatbelts, they all have brake lights and all that stuff, I have a rear view mirror, so all those things, are are critical to have for safety purposes.
So Clay, just to interrupt, so we had a prior conversation about this. The research I did, Indiana Code 921-1-3.3. That's similar to the golf cart ordinance. It allows the golf carts as well as the UTVs, if the town adopts it by ordinance, to be allowed to travel on our roadways. It does not apply to state highways or US highways. They can cross, but they cannot travel upon. So if we decided to allow this, that's the Indiana code that allows the town to be able to
Indiana
accept.
code referenced in our town code.
Right, okay.
And it also states that you can travel with the exceptions of State Road 149 US 20, that's 12.
Right, exactly.
So
So
all we need to do is to tweak the heading and add a definition of UTV and throw that in there.
right, we actually, we had a good conversation with it. It was just, it came to the point where it was changing town code. That would be a decision if the town council wanted to move forward on that.
But proof of financial responsibility, licensed driver. I mean, all that's in there.
And some towns, we could already have this with us, you know, so that's another opportunity to cover a little bit of.
Yeah, so table this.
So we've had some discussion, would it be okay if Jeremy?
I bombarded your phone today. You saw pictures from November through today. I have standing water right now in my yard. And it hasn't rained since Sunday. And it's been nice weather. The sun has been out, the wind has been blowing. I understand we are on clay and it does take a little bit longer for water to drain and filter. It does not take over 72 hours. We are now expected to get at least 2 more days of rain coming up. I still have water from over the weekend. And the mosquitoes are out, like you said,
Yes,
they are coming into the house already. I have a dog. I have a white husky. I have. I have to mop my floor every night if I can, just to barely keep up with it. So it's been addressed. I just wanna know where it's going from here. I cannot make the sanitation board meeting next week due to my job. I'm an 911 dispatcher, so I will be in Washington DC. I don't think I can zoom in on a meeting. I don't know if my phone will let me do that. I don't know if my laptop has the camera. But I felt this is a big enough issue that I need to be at something. I need the council to know about it, and the sanitation board to know about it. I have a fence there. It's a wood fence. At some point, it's going to start rotting. And this isn't something that I've done.
No.
And when Chuck came out, kind of looked around the yard, it's like, yeah, that's a problem. He's like, well, maybe you could build your pitch up. We are a patio home. I'm on a slab. I don't see how that's gonna be anything that's gonna be helpful. I tried mowing yesterday, I think it was, yesterday. Yeah. Everybody knows I'm worse with Chuck.
Okay.
I can only do half my yard. I'm only able to use half, it's creeping up farther now. Initially, it was just this little area. I had a fire pit that I bought the house from, she was a fire pit. I have the pictures, the water's up now to that, it's probably a good 25 feet up into the middle of my yard. So this is a problem that's not getting better, it's not going away, it's getting worse. It's creeping closer up, and their yard is swamped too, but it's designed, if I understand correctly, to run east to the storm drain, which then if you look at our front yard to my neighbor and I, the other side, the east side, there's a valley, the water's supposed to run off to there. That honestly is not even going into that, I don't believe. I've never noticed it swampy or soggy. It's stopping in my yard. It's, like you said, you've seen some of the pictures. I did email, back, I think last month. I sent, like, I just dumped an email to the clerk on the website. And so they came out, Chuck came out. I just kind of want to make sure this isn't gonna get hit. This is something that's getting worse. It needs to be addressed. Somebody's gotta come up with a plan. They've lost plants. I've lost a yard. I don't wanna lose my pets.
My wife, a couple of years ago, decided to put mulch around our shed. And it's helped a little bit, but it's absorbing the water and the mulch is always sucked. So, and it just keeps rolling back into the yard. For the last 3 years, I've been trying to keep the mosquitoes at bay. So I buy the same thing that Walt Disney World uses. I get concentrated garlic. And yeah, well, you'll smell it for a couple of days, but it's safe for pets, it's safe for kids. The neighborhood might think, no, you're having an Italian dinner, but it's just really, but it's cost $65 a gallon.
Oh, wow.
And it only lasts me one summer, and I only do the backyard. And so I've done this for 2 years. I'm gonna have to buy another gallon for this year because the mosquitoes get fierce. You can't sit outside. It's impossible.
Yeah.
But after I spray this, it's good for about 3 weeks, and then I have to reapply. Unless the town wants to pay for it, that'd be okay. But $65 a gallon, like I said, only lasts me about one summer.
Was there construction or anything
You
in
mix
the
it with
yards?
water.
No, in the yards that created this water issue.
Or did
Like,
he
from
create it?
from the jump, when you moved in there.
To our knowledge,
Yes,
from
he's
what
created- he's
we're
proud of it.
understanding, is that he may not have gotten a permit to do this.
Right.
He took it upon himself, as he took it upon himself to put bricks along their fence recently to stop the water from going through the yard after he was talked to by Chuck.
Sorry to Hoover Dam.
So he just, instead of working with us, he's creating bigger issues in the long run. I'm trying to do this for my neighbor, I've been like really like,
Yeah.
hey, listen, I'm dealing with this, I'm trying to do this. I can't keep up the floor cleaning, and my daughter's dog, I have my daughter's dog for 2 weeks. I have two dogs chasing each other around the fence. I have mud, I have fences.
Sounds like a
mold on the
nightmare.
bottom.
I have dogs, sorry, and I hate this.
Saw the pictures. I have my phone, and if anyone wants to quick pick, I mean, I think it was the beginning of March, we had a severe rain. I had the whole backside was flooded. I have pictures with the tape measures in the, like, early February when it was frozen, 3 inches of like standing water that's
Oh,
like
wow.
not even frozen over. It's just not getting better.
No, it's not.
So how do we go about this? Is he in violation of something? Can we,
We'll have to, right now.
obviously he's in
what occurred
violation of
is-
something, but
Yeah, it's a neighbor dispute right now. I'm not sure if the town is responsible. We can look into it to see if there was a permit that should have been pulled. That wasn't, but
Chuck, do you have
until we
any?
have more information on that.
Do you know the exact date of when?
He created this or?
It was when he first built the house.
It's
He was one of the
He
original houses.
always
So
tells
send
the
it
same
to-
story over and over. So when that house was built, that's when he started, because he took dirt from other homes that were being built and brought it over to his house to build up his,
He
yeah,
did it, not the builder,
not the
when they were
builder, he
doing the
did.
final
And
grade.
he's no problem with it.
He's very open about it.
Good idea. He said, oh, yeah, I just swoops it away from my house, but you get it to the neighbor's house. So, I don't know what to do. And I went to school with him, I went to high school with him. So, it's not an issue. I like the guy. He's just not thinking of things ahead of him. So,
How do we go about? How do we go about handling this? Like, is it something that?
Well, I think
We
the
have-
town part of it is it's problematic for the sanitation and the drainage is what it's doing. It's not draining properly into the drain that was created for by the town to prevent this problem. So I believe, because the water's not getting to that natural drain.
Right.
And that's where probably what he's done, it's not just a neighbor issue, it's also a town issue, because the other houses, everybody's just kind of dealing with it. I know a neighbor, I think 2 or 3 doors down, got some landscaping done to do this also. So if everybody is changing their landscaping because of this one problem, the effectiveness of the sewage drainage thing's not going to work. And that's gonna be a bigger town issue in the long run.
Okay. And all of you guys have been out there to look at it.
I recommend that we get to, because this really falls under stormwater and not sanitation, but
Right, I just wanna make sure somebody
Yeah,
acknowledges, I
I
can't
think-
get to the next
I
meeting.
think I'd be glad to get together with Chuck and Brandon and Adam and find out what they did find out and get back to her with what we as a,
Okay.
I mean, there's nothing that can be done right this way.
And that, I understand, and that's why I was.
We won't let this go.
I
Review it and
This
then-
is not the right meeting, it's important to me, but I can't be at the next meeting, for me to tell you I'm not gonna be at the meeting, but it's important and I'm not there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna explain to you, yes, it is important, I mean, I have to be at work at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I know.
I'm waiting here, and it's fine, and it's not an issue, but I just want to, it is important, and it's getting to be a bigger issue.
Well, it's affecting your livelihood at this point, so.
Well,
Just see my husky after she's been out in that yard.
No, thank you. I'm sorry.
On the other side of Melissa's property, the woman that lives there, who I used to work with. Anyway, she's got a big flooding issue. I tried to mow her lawn, I couldn't, it was impossible. The lawnmower would just water down, the water was still too high.
I just need a picture of it, I found my phone, and it's not as bad, but, so when I did try mowing, I sunk underneath, like my foot went under the fence, it was that slushy, and so I had my mowing shoes on, but. I mean, it's just, if somebody can look into it, and just figure it, we do have to take it into a civil matter, where we do have to do something on our own.
That's what the council.
Exactly, that's what we're
Review that and come back to you and let you know.
For everybody, the right department, the right boards, everybody to look at it, but we can come to something that works for everyone in that area. So it can't just be the 3 of us, that's.
And can you confirm the 3 addresses assistance recalling right now that you know of?
Well, okay, so you're 362, I'm 360, she's immediately to the east, so I'm assuming maybe 258.
Okay.
And then probably 256 too, I imagine. But around the corner, when you start to go around to Carroll, that guy that bought that house, he did extensive backyard work trying to. get rid
Because of
the
what?
flood.
Okay, we'll review this and
Right,
then,
exactly, so there's a lot of people that probably need to be spoken with.
thank you.
Yeah, as far as,
Thank you, no, I do greatly.
Thank you so much.
and as far as the meetings next week, there's a Zoom option, but then if you don't have Zoom, you can dial in, so if you're.
I'm gonna be in
not-
Washington DC, and so obviously we're an hour ahead, and I'm there for work purposes, I'm gonna try. But I don't, and that's why I said if I can't be there, but I want it to be at something, so I go check your own sanitation board as well. So at least now you've had this part, you spoke with me, I sent you the pictures to your phone. I believe the sanitation, but it has the email of all the pictures. From the time from.
Okay.
I think it's October, November of 22, which I purchased the house like I said in May. Through, I didn't send the ones that I sent you today, and then like I said, we're getting more rain, so I'm more than happy to go out there and get pictures for you. I think there's video also, it's that where you're walking through, and you can see. The water washing.
It's getting more and more rain.
That's terrible to hear what you're going through. When did it start? Out of curiosity.
We moved in there 6 years ago, and it's been going on since.
Every year.
Every year, it's getting worse though now, we're getting more rain for some reason.
Yeah, this year was a bad year, because I have standing water, my lawnmower's been stuck in my yard, I mean, I can pull it, guys, more pull it out, so I know exactly what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
it's been a very wet year.
All right. So yeah, we'll bring this up.
That's all we're asking, I just
Okay.
wanted to make it aware, to bring it to everyone's attention, because like I said, people come out with the VR that was a month ago, and haven't heard back, like, hey, you know what, it's on your own, and I get this, I get that, we're on that line of, it's a neighbor civil dispute. But also if it's something that he can remedy that will help everybody in the town, because somebody somewhere, the town gave him permission, yeah, go ahead, build your pitch. But that's a bigger issue.
I don't think he did.
Yeah.
I really don't think.
So.
Yeah, we'll do some research and then we'll discuss it at the other boards.
Great, thank you, that's all we're asking, that's all I'm asking, thank you so much, appreciate it. Have a good night, everyone.
You too.
Thank you. Sorry, give you. Family.
Please don't be that. Jessica and Chris Mercado with 238 Golden Drive in Portland Landing. We're really just kind of questioning about what's going on in the park that was kind of promised to the community.
Wants to go with this. I don't know.
Just to clarify, who was the park promised from? So I know from what I have been seeing, reading, and that it was gifted by the Lightfoots to the town in December of 23. When we moved in, it was told to us that the park was going to be built within the next couple of years. And nothing seems to be resolving, and it's now been almost 5 years since we moved in, and there's nothing.
Okay, so we have an old top house, we also live in there, that park was said it was going to be put into place. I guess. It was never, obviously, there's no end date.
Right.
And there never has been an end date, even on the Lightfoot end, there has never been an end date, considering that article was from 2007. We've lived there 7+ years, and we were also told there was gonna be a park. They lived there longer, 10 years, they were also told there was gonna be a park.
That's what we
The
just
town,
wanna know.
well, the town just got it in December I know there's been word out there, the town got it last year, December of last year.
December, right,
So we only had it for
4
a few
months.
months, yeah.
It was not the original deal
Yes.
that the town was supposed to get on the park.
It's a little bit more of a sideline, so.
So we got a small sum. And a land full of trees. That's not, you know. We're trying to work with it, right now, we're in the middle of doing a soil test before we can do anything, we are trying to move forward. We are looking into grants, we need to find money to get equipment, we don't have equipment. I know I'm on the Cortland's Landing Facebook page, I live in Cortland's Landing, sorry.
No, I know, I saw it.
Yeah. So, people weren't understanding that we already had the equipment, we do not have the equipment, I don't know where that was said, or who told you that, you know, who told people that.
It's in the process.
I could spitball some names, but it's
well,
not official, so.
Well,
You
yes.
can find the minutes, from the December meeting when the town was deeded that property on the town's website, those minutes are, you know, Jane does a great job with the minutes, they're very detailed as far as how the whole meeting went, you know, in December, as far as how all that got. I don't know how or why all the residents over there were told something. That wasn't,
it
was telling us. Right, and that's
It was him?
the developer, but the
Yes.
town has
See, and I-
had nothing to do with
And I
that.
wanna go back and look in our contract, because we have our original contract when we signed in our house in our state.
It's not in our contract.
Then they have zero, we cannot say a single word, like it was.
Right.
But it is something we are working on, like I said, we've only had it for a few months, everything's taking time.
From the people I've talked to, we'd even be happy just to have it level and have flat land for the kids to play. Community garden, something, you don't have to have a park. Right. Some people may say differently, but like.
Right.
May I suggest
Absolutely.
that you attend a park
There
board
we go.
meeting?
That's what I was gonna say.
Kyla's already a park board president.
Yeah.
That way you can work with the town, I am big in the community, not just Burns Harbor, to do the volunteerism and people and community is so big, and there's so many people that just sit back and don't want to help. So there's a lot, and I 100% appreciate you guys being here, because I know that it's been conversation in your subdivision and your next door subdivision for quite a while because of the different things that are going on. I'm sure you guys are aware, the amount of money that was given in addition to the trees at the level of ground. The park, it again is looking at grant opportunities, different, different things to fund. Anybody who is in your town that may have more suggestions to the park on how we could get help. There's somebody that in your neighborhood that lives over there, this is their area of work, that they would be, willing to. I don't know what legally, with being the town, what everybody can help us with, but at this point, if you want to see something out there quicker than the park board may be able to afford to do something out there, it might take a lot of community involvement. Which I know there's a great group of people where you guys are, that I don't think that you would have a big problem, you gotta get raking leaves, I can picture, 20 families. Like out there really on bad, so.
I think there's enough kids we could put to work. I never 11-year-old, I go out there too to volunteer.
Right, so just, getting with your people, we do see the conversations that are out there. Unfortunately, there's not a lot, there's no agreement with the town as far as, how all that goes, but my personal opinion on all this is it's going to take a lot more people than us and the park board to make something happen there fast.
We just need I think a big thing is what are our options, and so I am more than happy to come to the park board.
If you would, every, the first Tuesday of every month is when we do have the meetings, at 11 o'clock. And, you can reach out to Kim via email, to go on the Village Harbor official website, and you can contact her through there, or you can call her. But the first things first, we have to get a soil sample, and then we're gonna work on the timeline. Okay, and then, like she was saying, funds are low. So we're working on that through grants, but we would love your ideas. We're open to anything.
And we do want to keep it cut down, like, I know
Yes.
over the years, it's gotten ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's terrible, but we want to try to, I can't promise anything, but we're gonna try our best to try and.
I'm just gonna say there's some beautiful fireworks in July that we don't get to see because of these trees. I don't know who does those, but we enjoy them.
No longer me.
Yeah, where do we go?
They did it.
So like my husband Mary and I have done one and done.
It was amazing.
And then we're done.
But yeah, okay, so I'm more than happy to do that.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for letting us.
So my kids are almost grown now, from the time I moved in, so.
And that's all, because we're like staff on it.
I know, but my kids are really buying vehicles, so
But I appreciate you guys letting us talk and get, I think that's the hardest part is just not feeling like there's a voice.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So in our Facebook page, I did respond with a comment, and I also, Chris, I don't know how to say his last name on there.
I don't know, I made that up too.
Yeah, that's it.
He lives in the corner, I knew where he lives.
He emailed Roseanne and I a bunch of the same questions, and we responded to him, so I don't know if he's a neighbor or a friend. She can reach out to him. And
It's pretty much,
it's what we just
he pretty
told
much
you.
asked the same thing that you just.
I think everybody has the same question, so,
Yeah,
or at least similar.
but yeah, if anybody else wants to come, we love having an audience. I don't have an audience that often.
Yeah, so it's hard for it. Lots of fun park things coming up, so
Oh, yes.
bring in the volunteers, right?
So,
That may be doable.
Fundraising, and I agree, that's what it's coming to, some sort of fundraising to.
Yeah, and I think that that's also an option that was brought up that people were interested in participating. So I think as long as we have have an idea of what needs to be done, I think as a community, we're pretty proactive.
Yeah, I think so, too. Yeah.
Let's do that.
It's not something we forgot about or.
Yeah.
It was just handed to us quickly.
I just wanted to bring to the the council's attention, that I'm still working on a safety program for our employees and residents. And it includes myself, Lisa, and the fire department. We're still working on putting something together, and I'll incorporate Jane with this also, as far as if it's going to cost us any money or what it will do, so I can bring it. But I want to put it on the agenda for.
Have you reached out to the Porter County Health Department?
Yeah, I got to fall back from the person's name.
Okay, we'll talk about that later.
Jack, were you talking about the CPR?
CPR and the AEDs.
So I do have a response from the EMS chief, Robert Henry. He's the one that's certified to instruct those courses. And he is able to put on a class the 15th and the 16th of May at the fire station. He wants people to RSVP as soon as possible with him,
How much does this cost though?
$25 per student. If we were to outsource that, because there's a licensing fee. I don't think that's a problem.
Everybody got to pay them their
Per person.
class, so.
How long is an hour, 2 hours?
No, I think it's 4 hours.
So we have to pay their salary for 4 hours on top of that.
On top of the 20, yeah.
This is certification for CPR and then also.
CPR and AED.
I have a question in regards to that. If it's, sorry, if the budget doesn't allow for that type of thing, is there, in order for you as the fire department, are you allowed to go to the park and say, here is the AED machine, this is where it's at, this is how you open it up, this is how you look at.
I
Like,
can't-
not like an official training on it, but
No.
like a certification.
No,
This is how to.
because right now, if anybody at the park that is not certified uses that AED to try to revive somebody and it goes terribly wrong, they're covered under what's called the Good Samaritan Act.
Mhm.
If I teach them anything and they do something wrong and they're not certified, then it's a completely different story.
But you would be able to teach them where it's located and how to get it out of the box. Like, I've never taken one out, so I don't know, like, you know, you take a fire extinguisher out, you gotta bring a glass or hand your TV.
So
I don't know.
open the door and alarm sounds that notifies us also, but I think it would be opening us up to some litigation.
Yeah, live.
You just put it there and put up any signage, you know, just like you said with fire.
Fire,
extinguisher.
yeah.
And you got, I mean, during the summer, you have like, are there that's
I just,
certified?
you know, just reminder.
And Kim is certified.
And I mean, I would love each employee to be certified and maybe we
It
can
would
work
be-
on that in budget times for next year, but
Right,
uh,
we got our police that are certified, we got you guys, I mean.
I don't know. Are you guys all certified in AED now? Yeah, I think so.
Yes or no?
All right, we have to review each one of my officers' training to make sure where they're at.
Just ask about that.
Yeah.
I motion to end the meeting.
Adjourn. Discussion,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the second.
Okay,
roll call please.
Councilwoman Bozak,
yes, ma'am.
Councilwoman Dre.
Yes.
Councilman McGraw,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCarthy.
Yes. You got 3 minutes to spare, right?
No, it's not make your speed.
Run, she's gonna be very